All right, here we go. The Hunting Landman Podcast, episode 70, brought to you by Southern Ag Credit. As always, we're constantly working deals. I got a personal deal I'm closing with Southern Ag Credit next week, and we closed a big one last week with one of our clients. I think we got a big one next week we're closing with clients for Southern Ag. They take great care of us no matter if it's here, Oklahoma, Missouri. If you're from this area and you buy stuff anywhere, Southern Ag Credit can take care of you. All right, we got a special podcast coming up. I got my buddy Glenn Peterson. He's been here, been in this area a long time. We've known each other. He's probably known me a lot longer than I've known him. I know his family, got his little boy here too, but we're going to talk about what it takes to be a killer. And I will explain what I mean here in just a minute. Well, Glenn, first of all, thank you for being on here.
You're welcome.
Glenn lives about 25 minutes away, but he's hunted southwest Mississippi and the Felicianas most of his life. Big bow hunter like myself. Now, correct me if I'm wrong, Glenn. You've done a pretty good bit of tournament shooting as well.
I did. Years back, I shot a lot, and kind of got away from it the last few years because of this knucklehead sitting over here.
Mm-hmm.
But he shoots now. He shoots 4-H archery.
Nice.
And he won the state regionals this past year.
Is it sights or is it like the Genesis?
He's shooting a regular compound, the bow he hunts with.
See, I think they ought to do school stuff like that. Once you hit a certain age, I think they ought to.
I do too. I agree.
Now, you're helping at Silliman, aren't you?
Yeah, I've coached the 4-H team. Yep.
Okay.
Archery team. Yep. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Miss Penny's big into it at Centerville, buddy.
She loves it.
Like crazy.
That's good. That's good. The kids, for a lot of the kids that don't play football, baseball, whatever, they can still play that. But if they're not into that, archery is a good thing to get them into.
And they can do it forever.
Exactly.
Yeah. I can't shoot right now because I've got a chip in my elbow, and it's been killing me. And my doctor said, don't do anything for a month and see if it'll heal. I went to the surgeon the other day, so I told him, I said, if it hurts in August, we just going to have to hurt until February.
Yeah. You have to go get your steroid shot.
And of course,
I got to get in mine sometime.
Of course, I got hooked up with Hoyt this year, and I've got my new bow. I ordered it for, you can order them from 65 to 75.
Right.
And I ordered it for 75, and it's like 77. So of course, I would do that on this.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
But if I had a big elk standing there at 60 yards, I'll be glad I had it.
You'll be able to tug it back. I promise you. Yeah.
Well, what we want to talk about is what's it take to be a killer. So Glenn has had a lot of success over the years, and if you watch outdoor TV or if you watch people that kill big deer, I don't necessarily think that killing big deer is what makes you a killer because you can only kill what's there.
Right.
For instance, there's people I know that hunt, and you know some of them too, that's hunted the Homewood National Forest. I know one guy's got over 100 rack bucks with his bow in the Homewood National Forest. Now, most of them were probably dinks, but I promise you, he can go anywhere
in the country and kill one
and kill a bunch of them.
Yeah.
So, but Glenn does hunt some good areas. He hunts up in Adams County, and then hunt. Like you killed a big deer in East Feliciana last year, didn't you?
I did.
Yeah. Well, so we're gonna go through what it takes to be, a killer because I guided for a long time. Bow hunting, rifle hunting, here, there, and everywhere. And, of course, I know Glenn has and myself taken a lot of people hunting. And when you watch other people hunting and you go with them, especially turkey hunting, I've been with people, I'm like, okay, I know why he never kills any turkeys.
Yeah.
He walks loud or talks or calls too much or whatever he does. But let's start off with bow hunting. All right? I know, Glenn, if I say this guy's a killer, you got some people in your head you're probably thinking of locals and far away.
Right.
I want you to answer this for yourself and for them. So what do you think if somebody says killer, what does that mean to you?
That means they kill deer consistently every year. No matter where you put them, they're going to get the drop on one. They're going to do what it takes to make it happen. Walk the extra mile, do their homework, to make it happen.
Tell me this, as the people that, for yourself and the people you think are killers are, I'm asking some different things that I've got opinions on, but I want your opinion on. All right, let's go. First of all, let's talk about bow hunting. How much do you think the scent game, the wind game plays into somebody being a killer?
Yeah, well, that's one of the main things. If you're going to be a bow hunter, you got to play the wind. There's all kind of scent things, and believe me, I've tried all of them. Mm-hmm. And I've never found anything that works consistently. They all work a little bit in the right situation, but you got to play the wind.
Mm-hmm.
You got to get on the downside of the wind of a deer. They're like for me, I don't know. I must just think. If a deer gets
You're in
upwind
the,
of me,
but where you hunting those hills, that's the hardest.
oh yeah, you get the thermals are just sucking you down, and it's really really tough. And what I found, what works for me best, especially on places that I can hunt, that I can go back and hunt again and again. After you hunt there 2 or 3 times, you kind of figure out, okay, this is not going to work here on this wind. You got to kind of watch that kind of stuff. That's my opinion.
Yeah, I've had trees like that. I know that, okay, on paper the wind's wrong for here, but I know I can hunt it.
Right.
For whatever reason, I get away with the wind
Exactly.
there. If it's the thermals or something.
Yeah. I've been doing the smoke thing the last couple of years and just get to a spot and kind of blow that smoke out there and just see what it does, watch it. And it's unbelievable how much it sucks down in these hollows. And
I've seen those videos, and that's cool.
it does work pretty cool. Yeah. Just get you a smoke bomb and just watch what it does,
I've always, I think I'm like you. I've always trying little tricks and stuff like that. And I think there is some things that work. I wear a scent lock and I do everything, a limit shield, do all that. I don't think you can ever be 100% scent free.
Right, yeah.
But I think there is a big difference between if you go in the woods or if you go with somebody in the woods and you have very little poor scent control and, hey, they're very serious about that scent control. What I consider a wind is, case in point, last year, December the 27th, hot that afternoon, right after Christmas. We had that, but the rut is on. I killed a 142-inch deer 4 miles that way. That afternoon, I had a little valley, and I felt like I never hunted this tree before, but I felt like my scent was going to suck in that valley. And then, sure enough, the biggest, longest, headest does, where'd they come from?
Yeah.
My wind was, I got lucky. My buck came from here, and the 2 does that came out first came from here. If those does spook, I'm not killing. I cheated their wind just enough, and you could tell they were catching something, but they didn't catch enough.
Not enough of it yet.
And they came on in. And sometimes I consider a wind like if one comes in and they smell you, but they don't blow, they just walk off.
Yeah, that's a win.
That's a win.
Yeah.
That's a win. It's, if it's not your target animal, of course. And I think you either got to go 100% taking care of your scent, or if you're doing 60, 70%, you might as well just go to Vines.
I agree.
Bacon.
Yeah, get you a sausage biscuit and spill it all over yourself and all that,
That's what drives me crazy about people that believe zero, scent control don't work. The same guys walk in their Sitka or their mossy oak or the real tree, they walk in it in Vines, and I'm like,
yeah.
Well, you can't just go spray that down and think you're going to win there.
I very seldom ever wear my outer layer to the stand.
Mm-hmm.
I put it in my backpack, and I put it on once I get up my tree.
I've even got separate clothes. For instance, I know my kids aren't going to be scent free.
Right.
Yeah. I'm taking kids.
All about that.
I've got clothes that I use when I take them that I don't have to worry about, and we're usually in a box stand anyway, so I don't worry about it. But all right, with yourself and other people, what do you think about ingress, egress, access? Like as far as how you get in your stand, as far as wind, before daylight, getting down. What's your
right? I think it's really important for one thing, first of all, but a lot of places that I hunt, I've already got existing. I got a lock on already in the tree, and I know that's where I want to go. The wind's right. Sometimes I'll walk 3/4 to a mile out of my way to go around to get around it, because you don't want to walk through your bedding.
right?
Or if you got a food plot or a cow pasture, ryegrass field or whatever, and you think that's where the deer are feeding at night, and you want to try to slip in there and cut one off in the morning before they go to bed up or when they're going to bed up, sometimes you have to walk a mile out of your way, loop all the way around and come in from the backside.
Mm-hmm.
But if you go the easy route, through the pasture to the deer, you defeat your whole purpose.
And I think sometimes those deer, they know the ingress and egress routes that you're going in. So if you drive a 4-wheeler 200 yards on food plot,
Right. Yeah. That's talking about. I know years back we were doing a seminar for Primos. A buddy of mine worked for Primos. It's been 20-something years ago, and my buddy we were talking about deer hunting, and he was talking about you can't ride these 4-wheelers up to your stand. There's an old gentleman. We were in Liberty, Mississippi. Old gentleman stood up. I beg your pardon, son. I've killed hundreds of deer, and I ride my four-wheeler right to the stand, you know. I said, well, you know, but what kind of deer are you killing, you
Right.
know? So,
Also, I'll give an asterisk to that. The place I hunt down here, you know, on Whitaker Road, where I hunt down in there,
right.
that gray truck back there and that yellow buggy, they know that that's the feed wagon.
Yeah.
I can go in, but now this is taking 15 years to train these deer. Like if I know I got a big deer coming in, so I will pull in an hour before daylight in the truck. I've got a little Crave. You can do it with anything. You can do it with nose jam or whatever. I use Crave from Backwoods, and every time I go to my feeders, I spray it on the feeder, then I spray it on the on my truck track, so it goes down through the woods. And when I get there, I usually beat and bang around, act like I'm shaking something in the back.
Yeah.
And I spray a little of that spray, and I'll come back and it. But they've been trained for
that, right?
It's no different than the deer on my driveway. When you pull out of here, there may be a rack buck standing in that field right there, and he'll be back in 5 minutes because he sees vehicles all the time.
Right.
So you know, I get clients all the time that say, "Man, I get deer on camera at night all the time. And when deer season starts, they go nocturnal, never see them." And I say, "Okay, well, tell me about you going to the camp." We usually get there on Thursday afternoon. The kids like to go check the feeders and check all the cameras. I'm like, okay, you got to do that at some point, but like. Do it at 11 a.m. on you know, on Tuesday.
In the middle of the day if you can. Mm-hmm. You know, my neighbor in Adams County, I'll say his name, Jordan Bro, young boy, up and coming, really good bow hunter. He told me a trick he's been doing, and I thought about it. It's kind of what you're saying. He breathes out. There's some other, I think it's nose jammer maybe. Mm-hmm. Every time he goes and feeds, he sprays it
Same
on
thing.
Everything in there.
They do that at Tamarack where I hunt in Kansas.
Okay.
They do that too, and you could do it with. I like to use Crave. You could do it. It's very strong. You could do it with a vanilla.
Yeah, I think that's what nose jammer is.
It's basically vanilla.
Right.
But this is my theory with that. And look, Blake Duvall always says, you know, if you look good, you play good. You know, you got to feel good about what you're doing because you'll hunt harder if you do. So this is my theory with that. Okay, I feel like if I do my scent right and it's not blistering hot and I can get in there without sweating and everything, I feel like I can be 90% scent free. I mean, I'm religious about it.
Yeah.
You know, I can be extremely scent free. Okay, if I can be 90% scent free, deer coming to feed like that, and we're talking about deer around feeder around here, like at Lover Haven, we'll get into that later. They're tolerating a certain amount of human scent because you're coming in that feeder and checking that camera. They're going to tolerate a certain amount.
Right.
Now, what amount that is, I can't get a deer to talk back to tell me.
Yeah.
But let's say it's 5%. The 5% scent they'll tolerate around that feeder. Okay, well, if I'm 90% scent free and that's 5% and I've got that Crave out, oh, I smell a Crave. I smell a little bit more human scent. He must have just filled up that feeder today.
Right.
And does it work? I'll tell you this. I got a 134 big 6-year-old 8-point in there on the wall that I killed right over there that blew at me on the way in. And I'm convinced that he knew something wasn't right, but he smelt enough other stuff, you know, I'm coming on in.
Coming on in anyway, right. Mm-hmm. I've seen him do that. Yeah, that's, you know, hunting over feed like that, that's a whole different ball game than going to find a hot acorn tree or whatever, you know. But I think they have to tolerate a little scent because you in and out of there, you know. Same thing checking cameras. Same thing.
Well,
know?
That's one thing that I like hunting Missouri so much. I just bought my first place in Oklahoma, and I drew a Kansas tag this year. You know, Kansas and Oklahoma, which are feed states. Missouri is not a feed state. You know, when we grew up, the feed wasn't. I mean, there was some feed, but it wasn't. It wasn't. You wouldn't have
It just became legal here. What, 10 years ago?
Yeah. But you know, look, I feed a lot. Nobody's gonna outfeed me on my places. But if they banned it tomorrow, I would be okay with it because I think we're losing. We're losing, like, you know, I listen to old timers and they say, hey, look, you red oak acorns this time of year, you want to go shoe more, or, you know, yada, yada, and they know when they're dropping and the scouting that goes into it. Right. It's a lost art.
Right. Mm-hmm. The woodsmanship of bow hunting especially is becoming, you know, a thing of the past. You got a lot of these young guys, they don't know the difference between a water oak and a red oak and, you know, white oak, when they drop, you know, what years are better for how the rotation of them and all that. That most of them don't know any of that. They really don't. They know how to put feed out, set a stand, and hunt there.
Watch the cell, and the cell cameras even made it
worse.
Put
a camera on, that's made it. Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
And look, I'm guilty of it. I got 20 of them sitting back there about to.
Yeah, we saw them walking in. Lakin was like, "Look at all them cameras."
Well, those are all. I'm actually selling all those. We just switched over to Moultrie and everything, and I got them in boxes.
I just bought my first Moultries 3 or 4 days ago and set them up yesterday.
I like them. I like them.
Yeah, you a Moultrie man?
Those cameras.
There you go. I haven't tried them yet. I still got a few reveals, which I like. I had nothing against them.
Yeah, they're good cameras.
But
the video that those Moultries get, Ryan has been running them a couple of years, and so he'll send me a picture of Big Deer, Missouri, which we're all on the same cameras, and then he'll hit that video. That's just cool.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to learn how to do that. You have to show me. I don't know. Look, I'm illiterate when it comes to that kind of stuff. It took me 2 hours just to set them up.
And like them, love them, or hate them, I think they have a place. But also with the bow hunting deal, the crossbow. I've got a lot of clients now that feed 40 yards from a box stand.
Right.
You're essentially rifle hunting with a 60-yard rifle.
Yeah.
And how many times have you still done it? And when you first started, got busted trying to draw your bow.
Right. Yeah.
How much did you have to learn?
Yeah.
And that's
exactly.
And all you have to do is this. I tell you something else that's with that the deer Barry, which you ever watch that episode when I killed that deer?
Yeah.
The first encounter that I didn't have on camera with him, if I had a crossbow, it'd have been done. He walked by me at 8 yards. It was just I couldn't see my peep or anything. Plus I couldn't get him on camera. But you just lose so much, if you of the woodsmanship. Now, look, if Asa want to kill a deer with a bow next year, that's all we got. I get it.
Right. Well, look, he started with a crossbow when he was about 8 or 9, before he could really shoot enough poundage. But once he got where he can, look, he killed 2 nice 8-points with a bow last year, 38 pounds. Nice. So I mean, and zipped right through both of them.
Mm-hmm. You will be better than your daddy, huh?
Oh yeah, he already is. So, but I mean, look, I'm a diehard bow hunter.
Mm-hmm.
I will be until I can't anymore. And to be honest with you, of course, I might be talking outside of my ears, but the day I can't shoot a bow anymore, I'll probably just hang it up and I'll go and hunt. I bow hunt the whole year. I don't gun hunt at all. Right. I don't even own a deer rifle. Mm-hmm. Nothing against it, but it's just not my thing.
I did. I figured it up the other day. I've killed 6 with a rifle since I was 15.
Yeah, that's about how many. Well, I started when I was about 20 years old, and I'm 58 now. So
typically, the only time I load my rifle for me to hunt, I bring it to Missouri because we hunt that bow season, and then you get another tag and rifle. I usually bring it then, and but it's just something about it, and like to each their own.
Yeah, that's
because
right.
some people would say to me and you, well, you ain't a real bow hunter unless you shooting a recurve.
Yeah, exactly.
And some people would say, well, you ain't no real bow hunter unless you shooting a longbow.
Yeah,
and made your own arrows
with a wooden arrow and a flint knap head. Yeah.
So people, deer hunters, get online. They like to, go, oh, you're hunting over feed. Okay, well, you're hunting with a rifle.
Right.
You pick your poison.
Yeah, exactly. Look, it's I hunt over feed, not a lot, but I do some, especially when I bring him. I've got 2 or 3 feeders that I leave out. We feed year round most of the time. To me, it's your best way to shoot your does. Mm-hmm. If you need to kill does. I haven't killed very many mature bucks doing that. But what I found with the mature bucks is if you got a feeder, the first time you go in there to hunt him, if you don't kill him, normally, your chances go downhill after that. But I don't have anything against hunting over feed, not at all.
Now I hunted last year. If I go hunting or here around the house, either I'm going to shoot a doe, or I really think he's going to die today.
Right. Exactly.
To each their own, but that's just I don't just go hunting bucks just to go hunt bucks.
Right.
Like if I'm just going, if I got a Thursday afternoon where I can just go hunting and it's hot and deer ain't moving, I'm just go shoot a doe.
Right.
Because I need to do it anyway.
Yeah.
And I love the practice.
Now, do you do this? Like I have a few places where we're not going to shoot any does here. This is a buck only.
Yeah, it
we're
depends
only
on
going to hunt it when everything's just right.
And that changes with the years.
Yeah, exactly.
If I know he comes in here.
Right. That's off limits for doe shooting.
Yeah, we're off limits for doe
Yeah.
shooting. But
Yeah.
Last year, and I've done this before, and on some years I didn't like this, but last year I buck hunted in Mississippi 4 days. First day I went after a 6-year-old. I killed him over here on Winter Road. Then I killed another one on another place I hunt over just west of here. I went hunting, deer daylight, and I went hunting, saw the shooter. He still made it. Didn't get him killed. He didn't come all the way in. Then I went and hunted the 142, the big 8 I killed one day, and I killed him the next hunt. So I made 4 buck hunts from me. And,
Right.
you know, because like you said, the first time you go in there is
That's your best chance, in my opinion.
that's your best chance. And now it's different. Now, if we're talking about rifle hunting, like the way I teach my clients and I make my places, and we've talked about this on podcasts before, I try to make food plots in my box stands dummy proof.
Yeah.
Okay, what I mean by that, when you pull out that driveway out there, you're going to see a big box stand straight down the road when you turn left. I can leave here, just like I'm going out my driveway. I can pull in the backside, and me and all 3 of my kids, because I've done it, and can get
jump in there.
in and out without spooking deer, in
Right.
and out.
Yeah, that's important. Yeah.
And so what happens, like Lori did it. She killed a 6-year-old 10-point that was 130 inches a couple years ago. And she went 5 days in a row. In fact, the 5th day when she killed, I said, it's kind of hot. I wouldn't worry about it. She said, no, I'm going. But every day when she went, all them does didn't get spooked. She eased in and out, and she killed that 6-year-old buck, because then it just becomes a mathematical equation.
Right.
But you can't hardly do that with a bow.
Right. Exactly. Yeah. That's a tough. I have one. My best deer in Mississippi. Talking about the crossbow and going back to that a little bit. That was 2 seasons ago. I think I counted. I saw that deer at least 6 or 8 different times.
Is that the one behind your house?
No, that was in Mississippi. That
Okay.
was my mom and dad's. And he was right at a 150, nice 10-point, big wide deer.
Yeah, I remember.
And that deer gave me fits. I mean, with a crossbow, he was dead the first time I saw him. But trying to bow hunt, like I said, trying to draw, trying to different things. One time I had him, he was following a doe, and the road split right in front of him, and she took this road. Well, instead of him coming right behind her, I'm already licking my lips, thinking about, what he looked like on the wall. And he took the other road. For some reason, he cut downwind.
It seems like they always
And
do.
I'm like, are you kidding me? And I can't shoot that road. I'm like, I had him 15 yards and just have to watch him walk right by me. But with a crossbow, I could have shot him when he was 50 yards at the split, So, but, that, in my opinion about the crossbow deal, look, I got a buddy of mine that hunts with me, and he loves bow hunt also. Well, last year he got a complete shoulder replacement. He couldn't bow hunt. So he got him a crossbow. He got him one of them sure enough good ones, and I made fun of him. Poor thing, I can't even say the things I said to him when he was sitting up in the stand texting him, but and he killed a nice deer with it, but he said, man, it's just not the same. So he's rehabbing right now, trying to get his shoulder right where he can bow hunt again.
And look, I think, like I said, I think they have their place set. I
Right.
think if I had to get a rehab and do it tomorrow, I would maybe just focus that year on. I'm gonna just bring Lori.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, my days are with him coming up. My days are numbered anyway. And that's fine. That's why we're
You
down
like
here.
deer or turkey hunting better?
Turkey.
Yep, I figured you'd say that.
Yeah, he's the thumper. He's a trigger man nowadays. Especially with the turkeys.
Well, one thing I wanted to talk about on here, and I can remember several times. We'll talk about deer. We'll get to turkeys in a minute because turkeys have its own element. There's certain things that happen, like you're hunting. First of all, you have scenarios. You're saying, okay, if it comes here, I'm gonna have a shot. How am I gonna get stood up? Oh, there's a creek in my stand. I gotta make sure I don't step here. I've been hunting with people before, and when the deer gets by us, I'm like, I'm not trying to be mean. Hunting, like,
Yeah.
what in the world are you
What are you
doing?
doing? Right.
I had a buddy of mine. I went one day. I was filming, and the deer came in, and he would only get right just a second. And then finally, it's morning time. He just eased off. And I'm like, I would have killed that deer 10 times.
Yeah.
And what are some of those things you think that are like? Because everybody does most of the stuff, right?
Right.
It's like anything else.
Yeah.
It's those little things.
Yeah. I guess, like I said, what makes the killer a killer is getting a drop on one. When he gets that chance, he doesn't mess it up. He makes the shot. He practices with his
Randy
equipment.
Ulmer always says, first high percentage shot, you take it.
Exactly. I'm the same way. If first time you get one, you can get air in there, you better take it because you never know what's going to happen. And but being proficient with your equipment, knowing when to draw, even though we're shooting compound bows with a lot of let off and all that, you still got to make that movement to get the draw on them. So you got to know when they get behind something or know when they're looking the other way. Even if they're kind of looking your way, you got to know where are they looking. And
No deer behavior. And that
Right,
applies
exactly.
to other game as well. Elk's the same way. If you know it, If you know animals, you kind of read
Right,
their body posture.
And then another thing, the killer part of it is, you hear a lot of things, and I may get some hate for this. Only take broadside shots, or quartering away and all that.
I was getting to that.
Yeah, but I mean, yeah, that's true. That's your more high percentage shot. But don't think I won't try to run one right down in his chest. My best deer I've ever killed, I shot.
That 174?
Yeah, I shot him right down through the chest right here, and
Where was he at? Illinois?
yeah, he was coming up a little incline, and I'm like, when he gets up here, he's going to win me, no doubt. I got to shoot, and he stopped in the right, and I was like, I can make this shot, and I did,
See, last year, I shot a 6-year-old that I called Amos Moses. He was actually bigger the 2 years before that, but he was 6, whatever.
Right.
And he came in there and daylighted the day before I went to Montana elk hunting. And he walked up to the feeder, boss buck, you know how they're built, 4 legs. And he walked up there 3 times. And I drew back 3 times when he would step away from it and get broadside, and then boom. Finally, it was getting dark, and I said, okay, he's 23 yards. He's broad facing me, straight on to me. I said, the chances of me getting a 6-year-old in daylight, I had no idea why he was daylighting him, but he daylighted. The chances of me getting him in daylight again versus me making this shot, I'm going with that.
Right.
Like it, love or hate it.
Yeah.
I sunk a sever up to the flesh right in his chest, and he ran 50 yards.
Right.
Look, I'm all about being ethical and taking good shots, but I don't go out there to pet him.
Exactly.
I go out there to kill him.
Yeah, that's my ultimate goal.
Mm-hmm.
I like watching the red birds and Tweety birds and all that too, but I'm there. My end goal is to tote one out of there.
Right.
So, look, I still love my favorite shot of all time. Somebody asked me this question just the other day. I like that about 4-3 up back, and run it up through there. And
Right.
You get everything. You get all the goodies in, and normally they don't get out of sight.
And if you're listening to this and you're wondering, typically in a situation where they're quartering away, go a little farther back than you think.
Right, no doubt. You got to think about where the arrows, and I tell him, preach to him, where is the arrow going to come out at? That's the more important where it goes in, where is it going to exit? So, and a lot of times, that quartering away shot, you can get all the goodies. And you can do the same thing with a frontal shot or, through the base of the neck and the chest right here. If you can get that right angle, man, that's deadly,
Something that I have a buddy of mine. He says if you shoot him in the back hip, he said, you're gonna find him right at the end of the blood trail. There's a lot of truth to that.
Yeah.
It is a deadly shot. I'll tell you a story real quick. We were in Missouri last year, me and Caleb, and he's mid-40s, Big 10, big old mature sucker. He comes out, and there was a young buck kind of went and messed with his doe, and he chased her down the road in front of me. He's 14 yards. I wasn't letting him get it out of there without slinging an arrow. I didn't sit up there till 11 o'clock. I was freezing. And he come by there, and so I just put it right in front of him and let it go with it at a trot. And you can slow it down on camera. It hit him. And I knew as soon as it hit him, I said, he's dead.
Yeah, you got that order.
God, dog, terrible shot, but and sure enough, when he walked around the ridge, there was just blood everywhere. Then he got out there to 50, and I had one hole, and a heart shot him.
Yeah.
And which felt good. But in a situation like that, it's sometimes like, God, dog, can you let him run by? I wouldn't have killed him if I wouldn't have took the shot.
I mean, look, this is just my opinion. I may get a little hate of it. A dead deer is a dead deer.
Mm-hmm.
That's what your goal is,
Right.
So, I mean, yeah, you messed up a little meat or something maybe if you shoot them there. But, I mean, the end, you still get to take a picture with him. So, I mean.
On shot placement, what's your go-to at normal ranges as far as playing a duck? And remember, we hunt Southwest Mississippi, so
right. They come in there on pins and needles.
And people say, "Oh, my deer don't duck." Start filming your hunts.
Yeah, start filming them. Yeah. So I don't like. Of course, closer for me, and I shoot tournaments and all that. I'm a pretty good, decent shot, or I used to be before my eyesight started fading. I can shoot one a little further than probably the average archer. But I still like them close. Mm-hmm. For me, bow hunting is a close game. Get them in there close as you can. I don't want to brag that I shot him 50 yards. I want to brag I shot him 10 steps, So, but anything probably over 30 yards, in between 30 and 45, that's when they really hear. A lot of people think they hear the bow go off, and they do. They mostly hear that arrow coming.
If you stand on the target.
Exactly. And they will get up from under one at that range quicker. That's the range I don't really like shooting one. because especially if they're on pins and needles,
What distance?
in between like 35 and 45. That's
I think that's the worst
yeah,
distance.
yeah. For some reason they can duck an arrow. They hear it coming and they got time to react. I don't care how fast your bow is. And I look, the bow I'm shooting right now is super fast. But I mean, they can still get out from under it. I don't care if you're shooting 300 or 250 or 350. They can still duck enough to get out from under there.
I don't.
Or at least make you make a bad shot.
I don't think the difference between 275 and 350 even comes into play there. I think they're so
doesn't.
fast.
They doesn't.
I got to turn the crock pot off real quick. 2 seconds. My wife just texted.
Go ahead.
I don't like unfair feed.
Yeah, you don't?
Like at all.
Yeah.
I think it's
yeah.
I think it's totally unfair.
Yeah.
But
Some people.
down here, so
Right. Yeah. Now, where are you from?
Tennessee.
Tennessee. Okay.
Everyone around us can, we can't. So
Right.
I've just grown up not
Yeah.
feeding.
Hey, like I said, hey, that's what makes hunting, and we might want to talk about this. That's what makes hunting such a good thing. You might say, I don't want to hunt overfeed. That's not my thing.
And that's okay.
And that's okay. There's other ways of doing it,
If y'all are listening, what Zeb brought up is, in Tennessee you can't feed, but it's a different. Like I enjoy Missouri because we went up there and we planted corn. Well, Ryan planted it. We got it ready while I was there. Planted corn in Missouri in 2 different spots on the camp place. We got beans on the other spot because the camp place is CRP, so you can only do so much. And then we're gonna go up there and we're gonna put green right beside it.
Right.
And like when you do this and do that, when it works, it's just a little cooler than just going to put out. Now look,
Yeah.
Booner walks by me in Kansas first day, he's gonna have his head in corn, and I'm okay.
Right.
with it.
Yeah. Exactly.
But
yeah.
and it's kind of like it's to each their own. I think we are losing a little bit of it there, but
Yeah.
But talking about back to the shot and the distance, I always tell everybody, I said, look, past 35, 40-ish, the deer decides where you hit them. You don't decide where you hit them.
Right.
You can plan it all you want,
Yep.
but they decide where you hit them.
Right. Look, was it not this past season, the season before, my second best deer in Mississippi. I rattled that deer in right after Christmas one evening. It was one of them good crisp eating. I thought I'm going to hit some horns.
What's your favorite day right there?
I like from the 27th through the 1st.
See, I'm the
favorite.
26th is if I had to pick one.
Yeah.
I killed last year on the 27th. I've killed some deer on the 26th, but it's that from December the 20th to about January 5th. That's when you need to be a tree.
Oh, no doubt. Yeah. Yeah. It's up till about mid-January in my area is about the best time. But so I hit them horns together, and I hadn't seen a deer all evening, but it was time. The wind was right. It was a good crisp even. You could hear a long ways and hit them horns together. Which how many deer did you rattle up Mississippi? Not very many.
You came in on first sequence.
Yes, he did. So I hit my horns together, grunted a time or two, throw the Primos can, sat down, and as soon as I sat down, I'm hunting it's a clear cut behind me that's grown up, probably about a 4-year-old cutover. In front of me is probably about a 15-year-old cutover, but it's still thick, deer bed in both areas. But there's a bush hog road right down the middle of it. It used to be actually a public road years ago, and a bridge went out, so they abandoned it, which benefited us big time. It's the only place we got leased. So anyway, long story short, the deer comes out about 100 yards, and here he comes. And the most deer come right down the road, but there's another little dim road that kind of skirts around the backside of it and goes to a big food plot back there. That's doggone. I done ranged it. I'm not going to say how far it was, but it was pretty far.
Poke, huh?
Yeah, it was a poke. Well, of course, he's trying to get downwind of me. And I said, I ain't letting this deer get out of here without getting a shot on him, I thought he was going to walk right under me and I'd have a slam dunk shot. So.
You shooting a slider or you got like a 4 or 5 pin?
5 pin, yep. And I shoot 5 fixed pins. And I could just say that 5th one was involved, So anyway, I took a starvation bead on the thing and thought I made a good shot, and I did. Shot went off just like I wanted it to. The air was going to him, and he just stood there. I said, oh, he's done. I could see it, the air arcing to him. Well, right, but he must have heard it coming because I shoot pretty strong helical, veins, 4 fletch.
You shooting a 4 fletch?
Yeah, I shoot 4 fletch, and he heard it coming. And right before it got to him, if he would have just ducked straight down, I'd have shot over him.
Mm-hmm.
But how many times have you seen a deer wheel to you? Not very often, but he wheeled to the arrow. I guess he couldn't tell exactly where it was coming from. And I made a poor shot on him, but I hit him in a spot where he didn't go very far. You know, I wasn't proud of the shot. But what I'm saying is that far out, they can do so many things.
Right.
You know, whereas 20 and under, you know, they can still duck it. I'm not saying they can't because I've had it happen. But also, I don't know about you, but I aim low.
Oh, yeah.
I aim at
I never aim above the bottom of the heart.
Right. Exactly.
Ever.
Yeah. And a lot of deer I almost shoot too low. He'll tell you the deer I killed behind the house last year, I hit him, I'm talking about a fraction lower, I wouldn't have got him.
Mm-hmm.
But he was right there, and he was with a hot doe, and I said, I got to make this shot quick. And I shot, and I aimed low, thinking because he was amped up, he never budged. And I shot, arrow zipped right through him, and he went a pretty long ways, but I clipped the bottom of his heart.
Barely
Just got lucky, you know.
We, my Uncle Willie, Shelton's daddy, used to tell us all the time, and the bows were a lot slower back then. He said, boys, if you'll shoot 2 inches under them, you'll kill more than you miss. And there's a lot of truth to that.
He's right about that.
You'll kill a lot more than you miss.
Yep.
I've been guilty of that too. I put it, heck, I did one last year. She was 20 yards, she was a little amped up, and I just slid it right up that leg, and as soon as I got the hair,
Yep.
and it just barely touched her. She came in later. It didn't even hurt her. And I think I killed her friend that afternoon.
There
so
you go.
everything was
Had a little
good.
vengeance.
Yep.
Look, I got into shooting recurves years and years back, and it was kind of more of a bet, a dare, kind of an ego thing. Guy said, "Oh, you killed a lot of deer, but you killed them with a compound." He was a recurve guy. I said, "Well, I can shoot them with a recurve too, you know." So I went and bought one, and I missed so many deer that thing to start out with. But I finally figured out I have to pick. I shot pure instinctive. I had to pick a spot like 6 inches under them, and they would duck into it, you know.
That's
and
what it was.
I killed a couple of nice deer with it. But I did it for 1 year and said, this ain't for me. I'm going back to a compound.
I'm not saying I won't do it one day, but I'm just not that primitive yet.
Yeah, I'm not.
You know, I've thought about this though. If you hunted, let's say around here, and you said, "Look, I'm no feed anymore. I'm just going to do recurve only," and if you just said, "I'm shooting anything over 3 years old," you know, you'd have a lot of fun.
Oh yeah, you would. Yeah, and
Yeah.
I know a lot of guys that do that, and there's nothing wrong with it.
Nope.
You know, I mean, I know a lot of guys that bow hunt around here. They shooting the first deer come to the tree, first one, whatever it is, unless it's a spotted fawn, you know, and that's fine if that's what you want, you know. So, you know, he's cutting his teeth bow hunting now, so I don't. I'll
What
let him
heads
shoot.
you got him shooting with? Little,
He's shooting ram cats.
that's a good head.
Yeah, yeah.
You know, that's, B3 makes one a lot like a ram cat.
Do they? Okay.
And if I may have some here, I can send you home with. B3 makes that's a good head. And the thing I like of it from a fixed blade standpoint is they fly better than the ram cats.
Yeah.
Now you probably you tune your stuff up good, but with those, I'm gonna say 3 to 4 out of 5 at 50 and 60. I can screw them on. Boom.
Right.
Now his is gonna probably shoot most of them good because
Right. It's not shooting near as fast. Right.
But with those little heads, you can shoot usually 3 to 4 out of 5 at 60 will hit the dot.
Really?
One.
I might try them.
Yep, I like them. They're
Look,
good.
I have a broadhead fetish. People ask me what's my favorite broadhead. I've shot so many deer with different kinds. I've shot expandables. I've shot fixed heads. You name it, I've shot them. You know.
Something that people, I think, nobody talks about is different heads for different shots.
Yeah.
If you run it through his liver and his gut, guess what you want? You want the biggest,
want the biggest,
raised
baddest,
beast broadhead.
Yeah.
You want swacker. You want the biggest, nastiest hole. Now you get into his shoulder.
Yeah.
You want
something a little tighter than that.
You know,
yeah.
you want
yeah.
something a little tighter, a little fixed blade, something like that.
Yeah.
So don't think you're superior because I shoot this head. Well,
Right.
if you're shooting that, I've shot elk and stuff with them, a little inch and an eighth fixed blade, for elk, and I've shot deer and stuff with them too. But if you shoot them liver gut,
Yeah.
it makes them hard to find.
Play heck find a blood trail. That's
Yeah,
right.
I'm not saying they won't die, but
Right.
it may take a couple of days, and
Yeah.
it makes them tough.
Yeah. I've kind of got I still shoot. Now this is going to sound kind of funny. I'll probably get a little hate. If I know I'm going doe hunting, I'll put me a rage or something like that.
Big
on there.
stuff.
Something big like that. And
You don't want to look for them all night.
Exactly. But if I know in my mind I'm only going to shoot a buck, I either got a ram cat or a slick trick on my
Slick
end of
Trick's a
my-
good
yeah.
head. They fly good. Last year, I shot the Sever Hybrid and the regular Sever Randy Ulmer built those, which
Yeah, I've heard. Yeah, I've heard those are good.
they fly
fly good,
amazing.
Yeah, anything Randy Ulmer makes is going.
Yeah, I really like those heads, and we shot them a lot last year. Had some really good success on that. That's a good head. All right, getting back to our list. What I know you run some cameras and stuff like that. How much do you think that plays into, the killer standpoint?
Cameras can turn you into a killer. I mean, some people can say, yeah, that's kind of cheating. And look, it's another tool, Has it made my kill ratio go up? I don't really think so. Maybe a touch. But yes, I do run cameras.
You think it makes you hunt smarter with the cameras? Like,
no
less
doubt.
days in a tree?
Yeah, no doubt about that. It makes you. They will make you more lazy, no doubt. But they'll also, you're not getting every deer. I've seen that. Look where I just told you where I shot the deer way out. I had a camera on that road. And I know that deer was living there. I never had a picture of that deer, not a single one. I've never seen him before. So I mean.
Yeah, you're seeing a very small snapshot of what's going on there.
Right. Now, I have had cameras drive me absolutely bananas. You get a deer, you go hunt him, you don't see him. You go back when the wind's right again, 3 or 4 days later, he's been there every day. When you're not there.
Right.
You go hunt it, you don't show. I've had that happen numerous times.
Right.
But my take on cameras is, I mean, they're just another tool. They do help you. I don't rely on them 100%, but they are,
I think with feed, you're almost having two conversations. With feed, if you're hunting over feed, that you're gonna get a lot more because they're gonna be up there feeding.
Right. Yeah.
But there's also, you can watch your cameras like let's say you got on food plot, you see a food plot in the background. You could tell, how on the camera sometimes during the rut, you're like, something's going on. There's stuff everywhere.
Right.
Well, you may not get that shooter on camera, but if something's going on, guess who's probably going to be there? That big
Exactly. Yeah. Now, I saw a podcast the other day. They were talking about cameras and this and that, and I kind of felt one guy had a pretty good point on public land, which I still hunt some public. I just don't advertise it much, especially when I go out of state. And this is my opinion, I think they should be outlawed on public.
Just access people going.
Just because there's so many, people steal them, and there's, you go to a spot and you're walking in there, it's, man, this looks like a spot I want to hunt, and there's a camera there. Well, the guy might just have a camera there. He might not be hunting, just got a camera there. And that kind of makes you not want to hunt in that area because
you don't want to mess somebody up, or you don't have somebody walking
right.
on
So, I ran into that last year, a place that I hunt in the Midwest every year. It's not public, but you kind of pay to trespass there. You pay a fee.
It's the spot where y'all killed the two big ones a couple years ago.
Yeah. And this past year, it was cameras everywhere. Every little spot I went to that I've been to before, it was dang cameras there. And I was like, but the people weren't hunting. You never saw them. You just saw their cameras. So it kind of throws a little curve in that. So in my opinion, on private land, look, I don't want nobody to tell me what I can do on my own place. If I want to put 40 cameras out on an acre, I will. But on public, again, just my opinion, I think they probably should do away with them.
Right.
To make everybody a fair playing ground,
Plus the pressure that, if you're going in, checking your camera, doing all this, that extra pressure on the public. Because no matter, you got people on every side of the fence with the public. Some people, hey, we're putting too many people on them. Hey, we want to put more people on them, whatever. It's a finite resource. Let's take Sandy Creek, over there. There's only a certain amount of gobblers you can take off of there.
Right.
Now, they have done some things with the draws and stuff. So
helps out some, right.
Helps out some. And typically, what my opinion on that is, by the time everybody else gets to hunt, they're educated enough, it saves a lot of them.
Pretty much, you're right, yeah.
So,
because what happens is when you have those draw hunts, the guy can only hunt, 2 days? So he's going to get everything he's got for 2 days, and he's going to try to, if he ain't going to kill him, he's going to spook him,
He's going to kill him or spook him.
Right, so I mean, that plays in a lot too, but
that's what I tell people about when we go out of state hunting. I hunt here. My turkeys, I treat them different. Them ones out of state, I want to get even with them.
Exactly, yeah.
I ain't got to hunt them next week.
That's right. There's just a whole different scenario here. When I hunt here, You know, the last thing I want to do is spook one because I can come back the next day and hunt him.
Right.
But like
And I'm okay. You know, and you're like me probably too. I'm okay with them winning sometimes.
Yeah.
Okay, he's
They
got
win.
his
They
hands.
win. They win with me a lot more than I do. You know.
They got some hands, and
Yeah.
let them do their thing, and come back, and it's almost it's just part of the game.
Yep.
And then some days you're like, he got to die today.
Yeah. Today's that day. That's
Mm-hmm.
right. Yep.
Well, we've talked about a lot of the lot of things deer hunting, which is really what I want to talk about. We'll just touch on this a little bit because this could be a whole nother podcast. When typically what I tell everybody, look, if a guy shows up in an old white Toyota truck with the green lacrosse rubber boots on and gets out at turkey camp, he's killing.
Yeah.
You know, and what I mean by that, there's a first of all, if you can kill deer or turkeys in the SEC, and I don't mean Missouri
Right.
SEC, I mean
Right.
Mississippi, Alabama, Georgia,
in the dirty South.
yeah,
Yeah.
if you can kill
yeah.
turkeys consistently around here, you can kill a lot everywhere else.
Yeah, you can. Yeah.
Now you can get fooled by one and beat by one any day.
Sure.
I got smoked by them this year in Missouri. But what do you think makes people that consistently kill turkeys a little bit different?
Probably woodsmanship is the biggest thing. Of course, that's kind of cliche. Everybody says that,
But no, what people would think it's calling though, it's woodmanship 10 times.
yeah,
over
way
calling.
more than calling. Look, I can call decent. I'm a decent caller. But woodsmanship kills more turkeys. And knowing the terrain. Of course, if you hunt in private, if you know it,
And what Glenn's talking about terrain, flat ground turkeys in southwest Mississippi, like your Amite County, right here where I'm at, around here, these turkeys are way easier than hill turkeys.
They are.
It's
Yeah.
a different
Oh, yeah.
ball game.
Different ball game. That's right. Yeah.
Because on a flat place, he can come to you from 360 degrees.
Mm-hmm.
On a hill place, it may be one ridge. And
Right. Yeah.
It's just
Yeah, and if you don't get on that right ridge, you're probably not gonna kill it.
and you're fighting terrain and a stubborn gobbler.
Right. Yeah, no doubt. It's what the turkey killing thing is being hard headed, staying after them. Look, they got some guys, some people you mentioned. One of them's daughter a little while ago that's in the real estate business.
Oh, he's
They
good.
they some sure enough killers. You know why? Because when I've hunted with them, believe me, when you get on a turkey, it's kill them or bust. We're this is what we're doing. There's no outside things come. There's none of that. We're only killing this turkey.
Right.
And that makes them killers. And look, I don't want them hunting on my place. You know what I mean? So and I get like that too sometimes. If I get one that gets under my skin, I'm gonna stay with him until I can kill him.
I got one. Me and Zeb got one that made it. He's got a name now. His name is Dr. Evil. Dude.
Yeah.
He's just one of them boogers. We yelped up his no decoy, broad open hardwoods. We yelped up his two hens. And they come on both sides of it within 10 yards, and he's standing over there strutting. We had not made a call since he had been within sight of us, so there was none of that
Right.
going on. The hens came right by. So I'm like, oh yeah, strutted on off the other
Yeah.
way. He just
He just knew something wasn't just right.
But
yeah.
and the thing about it is, when he walked off, he wasn't even boogered.
He wasn't spooked or nothing. He's just being a turkey. He's like,
yeah.
hey, you know what? I know where some crickets are over here. I'm going
Yep.
to get. That's their mentality. It's thinking like a turkey is the biggest thing. I got a couple of buddies of mine. One in particular lives up in North Louisiana that I met hunting in the forest down here, and every time I'd ride by his camp, he'd have a turkey hanging up there. And finally, I stopped and talked to him, and we became friends, and we hunt together some now. No, I'm talking about a bona fide killer. He can't call that good. He's an okay caller. But when it comes to killing one, if somebody said, hey, $1 million to kill this turkey, I put my money on him. He just knows woods. He's a logger. He knows woodsmanship. He knows how to get in front of one, And that's more than the calling part. Like I said, the woodsmanship, knowing how to get in front of one. That's how you kill turkeys.
where he wants to be.
Right, exactly. Where he wants to go.
And I think his uncle, me and you both hunted with Uncle Rusty a good bit. The patience.
Yeah.
The old timers would tell you he answered you. He'll be back by there. A lot of truth to that.
A lot of truth to it.
I don't like to hunt like that. Like I know he'll be back at 11.
Right.
But
Normally I got to be at work. I work
Yeah.
for myself, so if I get to hunt the first hour of daylight, I'm lucky to do that. But I'll tell you what's helped my turkey hunting out a bunch And some of my deer hunting is my back. I got some pretty bad back problems. I'll sit there a lot longer in one spot because I don't feel like getting back up and having to go reset again, because my dang back. It hurts to do it on some days. So just sitting there and being a little more, I'm going to give it 15 more minutes right here and just see what happens. I've killed a lot of turkeys doing that.
You made me think of something when you mentioned that. I thought about it. You got to tell the snake story.
Oh, yeah. The rattlesnake?
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, that was...
rattlesnake or copperhead?
It was a rattlesnake.
Okay.
Yeah. Well, I got bit by a copperhead way back.
Right. Okay. Maybe that's
you're not
I'm talking about the one that
yeah.
you wouldn't kill till the turkey came.
Yeah. So I'm on my mom and dad's place, turkey hunting, and not trying to brag, but I grew up there. So if turkey gobbles on that place, he's normally gonna die. So turkey gobbles. He's on the edge of one of our big fields, and there's a road that comes out of the field. And it's one road that goes to it, and it's kind of dingy timber on both sides. So this turkey's coming up this road, ain't no doubt. Mm-hmm. So I went up there, and there was a kind of a pine plantation. I got right on the edge of the road, and I sat down, and there was a perfect place to rest your gun and your arm up on. There was another pine that had fell, some bug timber in there, and it fell kind of catty corner to the tree I could sit against. So it made like a perfect blind, and you could rest your gun up on it, you call, whatever you wanted to do. So I did that. I set my gun up on that log, and I hadn't even made a call or nothing yet. So I did that, and I kind of situated myself, and I said, I better call this turkey. And I yelled at the turkey, and he gobbled. I said, oh, that's his butt. Well, I went to grab my gun. I looked down, my knees propped up. I got it pulled up under me. And I looked down, and literally that far from my kneecap is a big old timber rattler just looking at me in a cold.
Biggin.
I mean a biggin. Just looking at me, running his old tongue out. And I said, I didn't know what to do. But I can tell you, I thought about it for a minute. I was like, all right, I don't want to move quick. But do I sit here and kill the turkey? Turkey's coming. I can hear him drumming. Do I sit here and kill the turkey and take a chance of letting the snake bite me? Or do I move? Well, I couldn't take it. The pressure got me. I had to move. I said, I got to go. Well, this fat boy got skinny real quick. I got up, and in one motion, I got behind the pine tree I was sitting against and propped my gun up on it. And no sooner had I done that, the turkey came up there, I killed him.
Then you shot the snake?
Then I didn't shoot him. killed him with a stick. But so I had pictures of the turkey and the snake laying there and all. But that was probably my closest I've ever been to a rattlesnake. Like that. Now I got bit by a copperhead on some public years and years ago. I was walking, I had roosted a turkey, and I was going around a curve in a bend in a creek trying to get up under him, and there was a log sticking out, like a stump sticking out. And I went to rest my hand up on there to kind of catch my balance when I was walking on the edge of the water, and it was a dang copperhead, a small one. He bit me right on that finger right there. That's why it looked so funny. He bit me right there. That happened when I was probably 20 years old.
You go straight to the doctor?
No, I went on and killed the turkey, actually. When I got back, true story, I had a picture somewhere. My hand was swollen up like that, Mm-hmm. And when I went to the doctor, I don't know, the venom had already kind of worked its way through me. He didn't bite me full on. He just kind of nicked me, but it made me sick. But my hand swelled up and all, but I went to go to my mom actually brought me to the hospital, and they really wasn't a whole lot they could do about me except doctor where he bit me.
Well, you ought to be kind of immune to it now, huh?
I don't want to find out.
Well, we've talked about most of the stuff on my list. Tell me what y'all got planned for this fall. I know you're trying to get this boy on some. Y'all got some good ones you thinking about mate or anything?
I just put a camera out at the house a week ago, and I got some up and comers. One's got some real long brow tines. Look like he's going to finish strong. We'll probably get after him. And that's where he does most of his hunting at, right there at the house. We can just walk from the house and go.
From your house?
From where I live.
Okay.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And
what grade you in?
I'm going to 6.
Okay. So you are 2 years behind Bentley.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, he's and now we're in the wonderful world of travel baseball, so that throws another kink in the hunting. So we'll see how that goes. But he loves it just like I do. He likes to bow hunt. We got him a little gun, and he's killed some nice deer with his gun. But probably in the next couple of years he'll start transition. I don't want to force it on him, but if he wants to bow hunt, he can bow hunt all he wants. But if he wants to gun hunt still, we'll do that, And he loves it. and he's a pretty good shot so far. You know, we hadn't messed up too bad.
You got a good guide. That's what I told Asa last year. You know, Asa, my 6-year-old, right there, she killed a big 9-point, a big 10-point, 2 does, and killed that big hog last year. And, you know, I heard her bragging. Some of her friends said, Asa, now you've got a really good guide. Now, you know, everybody
right.
don't have their daddy have access
and
to
a
ground.
good place to go. Yeah, that's important. So, yeah, that's what I try to tell him. Hey, everyone's a blessing. You better, because you never know. It's like on that lease we've had up there next to my parents' place. We've had that place for 30-something years. And it's been my youth turkey hunting there is beautiful. Well, it's being clear cut as we speak. You know? And it makes me sick, but like old Tom Kelly said, never fall in love with ground you don't own.
That's
you know, so.
You going anywhere out of state this fall?
Yeah, I am. I'm gonna go back to the Midwest where I go every year, Nebraska, and I don't go every year, but my older son Tyler, he usually goes with me, but he can't go this year. Another buddy of mine's gonna go.
I can't believe you ain't never got heavy into the elk hunt.
I've been twice, years and years ago. When I got into the recurve, that's where I went with that one time, and I should have killed one. I never got a shot, but man I was with taught me how to shooting what they call a rag. He said, man, we'll do better when we was on public. We'll do better than that. The very first morning. And I didn't shoot him. We never even smelt the elk the rest of the time, you know, so I should have went. Then I went back on a private place one time with my uncle from Tennessee, matter of fact, and we went to Colorado, and we heard them, but they were never on the place we could hunt. They would never come. They'd been overhunted, you know.
So, I know if you went with us, so we got a good place we go. I went on 2 places last year. So me and Ryan and Blake and Barry Cub, you know, all my buddies, my dad, we all go together.
Right.
And so the way we hunt, and really, Cody Kelly and Keith Burgess and all them, they
go to the same place.
I got my education from them. Hanging out with them. I said, I know that y'all have seen. It's like turkeys. You see a bunch of elk die, you learn about it with a bow.
Yeah, right.
You know, you learn about elk. And so Cody and Keith both said you'll kill triple the elk calling for each other as you would splitting up and going.
Yeah.
And so that's what we do. And 2 years ago I called 3 years ago I called in Ryan a really good bull. Then the next year I called Blakey in his first bull, and
I could see where that'd be addicting, you know.
I'm gonna tell you, like, in retirement one day, you'll probably see me spend a month in the West. It just they're and me and Ryan talk about it all the time. Why do we love it so much? We can't do it around here. We didn't grow up doing it. Yeah. And it's the only sport that I've come up with that it takes everything you learn as a hunter since you were 5 years old applies to a bow hunting elk.
Right.
The calling, the scent, the woodsmanship.
Yeah.
Being
all that's got to come together for it to work. Right.
Every time you elk hunt, at some point in the trip, if you bow hunt elk, you're going to say, this is impossible. And it does feel like it's impossible.
Yeah.
And and like Ryan was the only one who killed one last year. My dad shot one, couldn't find it. And me and Blake should have killed one. But anyway, Ryan, the last day, 320, the killer he is. Ryan's a killer. But it's like, I'll give you an example of what a killer is on this hunt. So Blake, the book Good 6x6 he killed, I was back there calling. We listen to podcasts and we send them each other, and we're trying to learn. We know enough to get ourselves in trouble now. We better know. So anyway, this bull was out there bugling, and I compare him to a turkey that would gobble at you but not come in.
Right.
Okay, and I know how to work them. So anyway, that turkey had to bust his bubble. So anyway, I'd see Blake was about 70 yards in front of me. I'd see him make a little ground, and I'd make a little ground. And as I made ground, I got more aggressive. And finally, we had about 30 minutes of daylight. Son, I had logged that big around, whipping trees and bugling and chuckling, and I lost Blake. And that bull bugle, and I said, God, he's got to be on top of him. And then I saw the bull. I said, I went to grabbing my bow. I said, well, Blake, I guess you ain't going to get him. About that time, he smoked him. Yeah. That's what we did. We popped that sucker's bubble. We got in there and up. And Blake, being a killer, he knew. We didn't have to talk about it. I knew what he was doing, and he was getting himself in position to kill
Blake's
him.
killed enough stuff in his life and been enough around game to know what kind of moves he had to make. You know, nobody, it doesn't matter the animal,
right?
Species.
It doesn't.
Right. Yeah.
And it's just it's fun. You know, I think you got to be proficient with your equipment. You know your equipment, know the terrain and stuff like that. And tell me this: can killers be taught, or are they kind of born?
They can be taught, but most of the good ones I know are just born into it. Yeah.
And I think these kids, like I'm thinking about Rafe when he gets old enough to really get into bow hunting. I kind of almost want to say, all right, Rafe, I'll help you in any way I can. But this 100-acre place over here that we have to hunt, it's yours.
Right.
Treat it like you want, hunt it how you want. Because if I just put him in a stand and he shoots one every other time he goes, you got to trip over your own feet a little bit.
That's right. Yep.
I mean, I missed 7 deer before I killed my first one.
Oh,
with
yeah.
my bow.
I missed a pile of them with a bow before I ever killed one.
And I remember it like it was yesterday. I had a Hoyt Game Getter 2. I was in an old Amaker climber, and she walked up there. She was 18 yards, a little old 1.5-year-old doe, and she was facing me. I shot at her. She wheeled, and it hit her perfectly behind the shoulder. Ran over there. I ran and got my grandpa off the dozer. Said, I got her.
Yeah.
Remember it like it was yesterday.
Yeah. The first one I ever shot at, which was probably illegal, but it's been 40-something years ago.
It's past 7 years.
So, I mean, it's past, I think, what do you call that? The,
statute of limitations?
Yes, it's over with. So, we were hunting at Cat Island with my dad, and he had been squirrel hunting, of course, and I had some kind of recurve bow back then. They made compounds. My dad wouldn't buy me one. He said, you want a bow hunt, you hunt with this. So, I had bow hunted that morning, didn't kill anything. On the way back, I was riding in the back of the truck, and we had a lot of deer on this island we hunted on. And I tapped on it. When we saw a deer, that was the thing, you tapped on the roof, And he stopped, and there was a cow horn spot standing down in the ditch. Now, the deer was like 15 yards, just looking at it like just dumbest deer in the world, There was nothing between us but air and opportunity. Boy, I drew that bow back, and I missed that deer. My dad looked at me, he said, what was you shooting at? I shot 8 foot over that deer's back, never found the arrow. He said, you're terrible at that. You're not, no more. You're not even going, he wouldn't even let me go back anymore. I missed so bad,
That probably is what made
Oh, yeah, but that lit a fire under me. Mm-hmm. Yeah, it lit a fire under me. So, yeah, that's, but look, I was that kid. It's like he's when he's home by himself, he's got the pellet gun, he's out hunting whatever, and I was the same way. And that turns you into a killer.
Right.
That kid, family we were talking about earlier, those kids grew up. When you drove up in their driveway, one of them kids had a BB gun outside shooting something,
Right.
And now I wouldn't want none of them hunting me, So that's important.
Right.
Instead of in there playing games, you outside.
I told my son this weekend, we was fishing, and he didn't know how to do something. I said, boy, you need to be, it was fishing. I said, you need to be having a fishing pole in your hand more and less game control.
Right, no doubt. I try to preach that to him, and he does pretty good, but you put him in front of that TV, he'll stay there until you maybe tell him different, But
that was, people don't understand, and every kid's different. People don't like. I've been to Disney World one time with my kids, and then one time when I was a kid. And I went for half a day when I was a kid.
Right.
My family went all the time.
Yeah.
You know what I said?
Yeah. I ain't doing that.
I'm staying here hunting and fishing.
Right.
I got Disney World in my backyard.
Exactly.
Why we want to?
Yeah. That's my thing. There's nothing else out there that excites me more than bow hunting and turkey hunting.
Right.
So I mean that besides my family, nothing excites me anymore.
Right.
So that's.
I think we just need to go ahead, as much as you're liking to hunt now, and if you do a good job and are a good boy, and when you're a senior, I think me and your dad need to take you elk hunting whenever you're senior for your senior trip. I think that would be a great idea.
That's a perfect idea. But you know what needs to happen between now and then? You're gonna have to get a job. Yeah, and pay for it.
Well, by then you'll be able to learn how to do air conditioning and stuff with Dad, save you a little money.
That's right.
It ain't nothing like it. When that sucker comes, it's spiritual.
Yeah.
And when they come to the woods, my dad said this year. He shot his first one this year. He didn't find him, but they're intimidating.
Oh yeah.
The rack's 10 feet,
right.
10 feet off their head, and the sound you hear them breathing. They're hitting rocks and brush, and it's like, it's kind of like, I compare it to this. All of a sudden you're sitting there and everything's done got quiet, and all of a sudden you hear, and like. Oh,
he's right. He's in gun range.
Where's he at? Where is he at? And it's that feeling, and you're in the mountains, guys. It's just something special.
Yeah, I had a guy that I shot archery tournament with one time. He was a big time elk guy from up wherever, and he said he's seen more tournament archers that are world champions fall completely apart when an elk comes. They can't even draw their bow. You know, just couldn't do it. They lock up. They're
That-
so
that-
intimidating.
and that's why we do it. I mean, look, I've shot, I don't know, 150 animals with my bow. I have to tell myself on does, calm down.
Oh yeah, I get to look
on a doe.
I'm 58 years old. I still get that. I get it. I have to, especially the first one of the year.
Mm-hmm.
I'll try to shoot that son on too quick almost every time. You know.
You know with that, I love shooting does with my bow. Like if you told me, Slade, you get 130-inch deer a year or 10 does, I'm taking 10 does. I love when you run a good arrow through one and she runs over and you see her fall. It's like,
Oh yeah, exactly.
you know, it feels good.
Yeah, a lot of it looks. Them big old long nosed does are just as hard to kill as a mature buck.
So people know this. I'm going to do a podcast on this one day. My parents have a high fence, and I grew up hunting out there. I hadn't killed a buck in there in 15 years.
Right.
No matter popular opinion, I
Yeah.
maybe learned that. But anyway, I don't even let my kids hunt in there. Not because we're better than that or anything else. I have good hunting around the house, and I want my kids to learn how to hunt like I learn how to hunt,
Right.
not inside the fence. But anyway, people used to say, "Oh, you just hunt." When I was a kid growing up, and teenager bow hunting. Oh, you hunting them does inside that fence. You ain't doing nothing. I say, all right. I bring you all the corn you want, and I want you to kill a 3-year-old doe with your bow or older.
Right. Probably especially in there.
They're
Yeah.
just way smaller because there's 100 does that get shot a year
Right.
versus a couple of bucks.
Right.
Them suckers.
I bet. Yeah, I bet that would be tough.
It got so bad when we were shooting a whole lot of them and we were all guiding out there. I watched mature does walk to a middle of a food plot and find corn on the ground, eat and run, taste it and run because they knew that was
Yeah.
death pellets.
I like them when they come up there and they'll be eating corn out of a feeder and they're looking. You can see them.
Oh, yeah,
they're
got
looking
them
for you.
eyes looking up.
I'm like, boy, it'd be tough to draw them on.
That's
yeah.
what. Speaking of knowing when to draw, that's one of the things we talked about earlier. Like that old doe who's got her eyes looking up in the tree. A killer knows like when that spike comes up there and busts her.
That's when you
draw.
your bow. Exactly.
Like you got to have some. There's an
You gotta wait
opening
for that
somewhere.
opportunity. That's right.
And if you go to draw when she got them eyes up, she's gonna do that.
Oh yeah.
She's gonna do that step back and
Right.
and be
Yep.
gone.
Be gone. Yep. Yeah. That's what separates the killer from just the hunter. There's little things like that, no doubt.
Yep.
It's,
And I think deer, turkeys, out no matter what you do, reps.
Yep, no doubt.
You want to be. I was a better killer whenever I was shooting. I think I shot 23 deer one year, 3 with my rifle and 21 bow. Now I had tags and this was all managed.
It was all
stuff.
legit, right.
It was all legit, but like back then when 52.
Yeah.
Just drill,
Right.
but you did it every day, and
Right.
But that's
Used
what
to,
it
my
took.
eyesight's kind of. I wear glasses most of the time. I can't shoot like I used to.
I can't eat. So it used to be, I could take it 80 yards and I could put the pin on the dot and I could focus on the pin and the dot. Now I have to
Right.
pick which one.
Exactly.
I made the
'Cause-
focus.
Yeah, because your eyesight you got one or the other.
Yeah, but I used to be like I could stick a skull can on that thing and I could focus on both of them
Right.
at 80. And now it's you pick one of the two.
Right. See, I'm the opposite of most men. I can see up close fine. I can still read without glasses. I can see you fine from here. I can still see my pins fine. I can't see further out.
Right.
I can read without glasses now.
Speaking of shooting deer, and we're talking about this, are you a come up, find your spot, or you a come down, find your spot? What's your pre-shot
I come down.
head moment?
90% of the time, if I can, I don't sky draw, but I come down all in one motion. That helps me with my back too. I kind of come down and get set like that. And just instinctively, everything's kind of lined up pretty close most of the time. I guess it's just
You
muscle
come
memory.
down, find the bottom, then come back up, or find down.
I normally don't come all the way down. Normally I'll stop pretty close to where it needs to be. Because a lot of times you find if you go down too far and
You can't
try to
get
come
it back up.
you'll get a little target panic and try to shoot before it gets there.
And I've got target panic bad.
I do too.
I
keep it, yeah.
I shoot a thumb handle, and it helps with it.
Right.
I'm
But it
still
doesn't
not
cure it,
over
right,
it.
yeah.
But it I tell you this, if I just starvation beat aim one, that ain't me.
Yeah.
To me, it's
Yeah, get on
killing.
and shoot. Yeah, I'm kind of the same way. I got to make it happen. He fought with some target panic this year. We got one of these hydraulic releases we're gonna work with.
Stan or something.
Yeah, I don't know who makes it. I think Carter makes it actually, and we're gonna work with that. Because he got to where he was snapping. Even in the tournaments, he got to where he was shooting too quick. And although he still won, I can see it. It's going to cause bad habits.
If you listen to people on podcasts and stuff, my target panic or my version of it or whatever you want to call it was created by shooting dots at long distances because you're timing the float.
Right.
And that's what created mine. So now I'm timing that float.
See, I try not to shoot at dots.
Mm-hmm. Well,
I try to shoot at an animal target or a really big dot and try to just keep it in the center.
See,
because if I try to shoot little dots, it causes all.
I do dots, sighting it in, and then I go to the 3D target.
Right.
Just shoot the target.
Yeah.
And it's just getting reps. And if I think I'm shooting a little left or right, okay, get a dot and see.
Yeah, exactly. Yep.
But
I'll draw me a vertical line, and that gets you left and right, but
I had to go to a single pin because I used to use 7-pin. It's just less going on.
Right.
And it don't. I don't think a single pin is best for hunting. It's best for my shooting. If I had to say what I thought was best for hunting, a 3-pin with the bottom being movable.
Yeah, with a slide.
Because 20, 30, 40, I always know where my level bubble shoots too. So 0 to 50, I'm good.
Yeah.
And then if you're shooting anything over 35, you're ranging anyway.
Right. Yeah.
So when I'm elk hunting, I'll put my slider on 30. So on an elk, 30.
Good. You should be good to go. Right.
30, 40, 20, 30, 40. You just put it where you want to.
When I hunted with a single pin, and I've gone back and forth, but normally I'm hunting with a 5-pin fixed pin sight. But when I did hunt with a slider, 1 pin, I'd set on 25. Mm-hmm. And that way I could just aim a touch low if he was right up under me. And I was good out to about 30, 32, depending on how fast your bow was. But normally about 32. You didn't have to move it. You're still good. You shouldn't be in the boiler room still. But I have had, especially in the Midwest, when they rut a lot harder than they do here, you get one chasing or something. I've had that cost me a couple of deer trying to make a move, But there is
that's
also
something else that goes in the killer, knowing when to make that move. Do I range or do I just make it happen?
Right. Yep. That big deer I killed up there several years back, it was like, the does come through, and I saw him coming, and I said, I'd ranged a tree. They went right by a tree. I'd ranged at 32, and I was shooting a slider then. And I said, well, he's going to take that same trail. And he did. I could see him coming, so he's going to take it. And I had time to move it. It was like a dream, I had time to move it, get my feet set and all that. And I stopped him right in that opening, and you couldn't draw a picture and hit him any more perfect. Mm-hmm. He was about 32, if I remember right. But I had time to do all that.
That probably would have been 275 pounds or something.
Oh, he was a big old buck. Yeah, big old deer. You
couldn't
drag him. I can tell you
son
that.
killed one on the same tree the next day?
Same tree 2 days later, yeah. Mm-hmm. Mine was 174 and his was 168.
Now, you've killed 2 174s, haven't you?
Yeah, I have.
Just hammers.
Yeah.
That's hammer. That was my
lucky.
first one. He doesn't look as good, but it's the split twos that does it. He's 172.
Pretty. Yeah, that's a pretty one. Real pretty. Yeah, but I'm not a per se trophy hunter. I try to shoot mature deer, but I still like shooting them. I ain't gonna lie.
Look, I'm all about shooting 5-year-olds and trying to do it with a bow and all that kind of stuff. But if it's shoot 5-year-olds or somebody get out of hunting, stay in hunting and shoot what you want. Exactly. That's what I tell people all the time. Yeah. Don't put your lens on somebody else. If somebody comes to me and says, Slade, I want to buy 200 acres, and they buy it, and they want to kill 6-point legal bucks, that's their God-given right.
Yeah, as long as it ain't right next to you.
Yeah, I don't want to be their neighbor, but I mean, there's nothing, that's, now, how do you, that's actually would be a good podcast, how do you go talk to that guy?
Right. Yeah.
Without being rude and being respectful, how do you say, hey, listen, I have been hunting on this place 15 years, and I finally met the neighbor 3 years ago who leases the place. I sent him a bunch of pictures and stuff, and he sent me pictures, and I knew all the deer he had killed. And he said, you seem to be killing a lot bigger bucks, and what are you doing right over there? I'm like, well, not being rude, but some of those ones y'all shooting, I'm letting go. So now I was respectful about it. Now I send them pictures and say, hey, look, y'all do what you want, but I'm passing this 4-year-old.
Exactly, yeah.
And they do.
Well, I've got some of that on places, that I can hunt. Got good relationships, and they're trying to be, have good relationship with your neighbors where you can talk about, hey, this deer, we're going to let him go. If you want, that's up to you, but
right.
A kid or something comes, I'm sorry, I'm probably going to let him shoot him.
Right.
But, the grown people, we're going to let him go.
Right. And look, nobody's perfect, and everybody's going to think he's the wrong deer. I've done it before, but I think sometimes we can get so much into deer management we forget. We didn't grow up at his age saying, I can't wait to kill 5-year-old 160s.
Right,
No,
right.
we want to go big buck. We want to hunt.
Look, I learned a lesson this past year after all these years of bow hunting. I was telling you about my little buddy that had to shoot the crossbow this year. He hunts on the lease that we got leased with us. And we try to shoot mature deer, and it's archery only. And it was right after Christmas. I had kind of a slow year. I hadn't killed much. And I had 4 bucks before daylight chasing a doe. And I was out on the edge of a clear cut. And I'm jacked way up in a climber, way up in a pine tree. And so they're way down in this creek bottom, and they're chasing before daylight. I could catch glimpses of them with binoculars. And 3 of these deer are big deer that need to be shot. One of them was probably a 3-year-old.
Mm-hmm.
He's a pretty 3-year-old, but he's a 3-year-old. And they chased and chased. It finally got daylight. Well, I saw one of them bigger deer. The doe kind of got away from them, I guess, and they frantically looking like dogs. Well, this one was coming up the creek, and there was a big magnolia tree. Well, when he got behind that magnolia tree, I kind of got turned around where I could shoot. I said, all right, when he gets right here, it'll be about 35. And I don't know where this other deer came from. He must have come from the other direction and got behind the same magnolia tree. Because it's the only tree out there that still got leaves on it, because it's wintertime. So I couldn't see him once they got behind it. When he come out, I started concentrating on my shot, and I shot him about 35, quarter away. And you couldn't have hit him any better. He run off in the creek bottom, and I was, God, I got one. That's a good deer. I knew what deer it was, I thought. So I called my buddy that was hunting with me. He said, what'd you shoot? And I was all excited, So he came and helped me. We look over in the bottom at the deer. He went down the creek bottom and died. I said, he's right there. I heard him gurgling down there. It was the smaller of the 4.
Mm-hmm.
I was so disappointed. I was like, and I got mad. I said, I can't believe I shot this deer and this and that. And he taught me a lesson. He looked at me and said, man, how fun was that hunt? How excited was you 10 minutes ago?
Right.
That's why I was on cloud 9. He said, you should still be there.
Right.
This ain't easy to do. So anyway, it kind of taught me a lesson about that. It's like, man, you're right. I ain't gonna ruin this.
Right. Don't take it too serious.
Right. Exactly. Yeah. So.
Well, I know we all got to get ready for work in the morning. I got to get over here and get me some supper.
There you go.
Fun podcast. We need
Yes, sir. I enjoyed it.
We need to do it again.
Yep.
We'll think of another good topic, but that's what it. You're talking to a killer, old Glenn. But I've got one question. If you've ever listened to any of the podcasts, I ask everybody who's a guest on here. All right, we go to Norwood right now and we buy lottery tickets, and you win $100 million. You get $100 million to you. Where are we buying land and why?
Northern Missouri.
Northern Missouri. I got a bunch up there.
Yeah. The reason why I've deer hunted and turkey hunted, I just love that country.
Mm-hmm.
It's
What areas do you like most up there?
I like northern Missouri. I like that. I've been to some parts of southern Illinois. I like that area. Nebraska, where I go up there hunting, that's some. There's still a lot of ground up there that's
Untouched.
Yeah, I mean I wouldn't say it's untouched, but it's not hunted. Where I go up there, you can, like where me and my son killed those 2 deer. It's a 1.25 mile walk where we went, and I don't think anybody's ever hunted out of them trees before. You know what I mean?
Really?
And probably never will, except for us,
Mm-hmm.
because most people are not willing to go that far. But anyway, if I had to go buy a place, that's where it'd be. Northern Missouri. Yeah.
I like Northern Missouri. I'll be up there in 2 weeks planting our
Yep.
food plots and stuff, and it's I think we're going to have one of our best years ever up there. We've got, I feel like, some of the best ground. It's
Yeah.
our first. The 2 farms we'll be hunting is 196 acres and a 310. Ryan and I own, and they're about 20 miles apart.
Right.
And we've got our tractor and our food plot. We're gonna have it all dialed in. We put a camera up last year when they still had their horns on one of the farms. Had some really good deer that we know that made it. So we're excited. I'm sending Zeb up there. He's leaving next week. He's gonna go up there and try to velvet film them in the
There you go.
in the soybeans. So that'll be
Yeah.
fun. But
Now, do you have somebody up there that can do your food plots, or do y'all have to do all
no,
that?
we do pretty much everything. Now,
Yeah.
like the other day, we got a guy that came and aerial sprayed and aerial fertilized the corn.
Yeah.
There's certain things. If we were up there, we would have done it. We got a tractor up there and we've got equipment up there, but we will go up there. We just bought a brand new disc. We'll disc all our food plots, plant our winter stuff up there. We plant sugar beets, turnips, rape, the brassicas, the stuff that really don't work that good down here. They love it up there.
Right.
In early October, they'll be having big old leaves and then by late October, it's funny, you watch them does, they put them radishes or turnips in their mouth and they're shaving them.
Right. I've seen that on TV. Right. Yeah.
And they love it.
Yeah.
And I tell you what else, and this is perfectly legal. We got a big old 15-foot bat wing up there and a big tractor, and we got that corn. You go mow you a quarter acre and be looking at that green versus that corn. Ooh, that's a dinner bell, son.
Yeah.
Perfectly legal.
Right.
And but you put your camera on there in 2 days, they come. It's like they smell it. So
they hear them tractors cutting it.
Oh yeah.
Talking about northern Missouri, I went years back, and I hunted the same place 2 or 3 years in a row, and I would try to time it when they cut corn. When while they were cutting the corn,
you need to be in
one of the
the
better deer
compound's
I've ever
going. You
killed.
need to go.
They were cutting corn. The tractor was 300 yards from me combining when I killed the deer.
Well, make sure when you leave here, you stop and get your thing. And then when you win your $100 million, I go up there with you and we'll figure out. We'll get Barry Cove to find us a $50 million place.
Yeah, no doubt.
And be
No
ready.
doubt.
Gina probably have a beach house somewhere.
I'm sure that's exactly where she'd want to be. Yeah.
I got one like that too.
Yeah.
Well, we're gonna jump off of here. Glenn, thank you for being on here.
Yes, sir. Enjoy
And we're gonna get out of here. Good luck this season, everybody.